Cheers, legends. Sammy from Short and Stout Beer Reviews. We've got a range brewing beer I've been sitting on for a while. It's a bit of a tribute to another beer tuber out there, Disco. So cheers to him. It's called Disco Till You Drop. And the reason why it's a tribute to him, he collects beers with the name Disco in it. Unfortunately, it's hard to get Aussie beers to the UK, but I thought I'll at least tribute the beer to him, and he might be able to get it sometime down the track. But Range have a series of disco beers. It all started with, I think it was a New Zealand pale ale called Infernal Disco, and then they made a core range pale just called Disco, and then after that, they started making like different variations. They had a double, a triple, and now this is, I don't know what this is as opposed to the normal one, but it's just like an amped up version. It says, yeah, Disco Till You Drop, triple dry hopped IPA, 7%. On the back, it's got, we've taken everything we love about our beloved Disco Hazy Pale and turned it into a hop bomb of a triple dry hopped IPA. Dense, saturating, and popping with intense notes of freshly squeezed lemon zest, lime sorbet, and tropical fruit. And yeah, all the disco beers they've been banging, so I'm expecting this one to be pretty good. I've been wanting a beer all day. I've been waiting on this mountain culture package. It finally arrived at like 2 p.m. So, or actually make that 1:30 p.m. And yeah, so it arrived about half an hour ago. I chucked them straight in the fridge, so I'm waiting for them to cool because I'm keen as for a sesh. But unfortunately, most people will be probably in bed by then. So I thought I'll get a review done. At least I can drink one beer. My stocks are very low at the moment, so let's get into it anyway. I've got my hashtag proper glassware. This is actually a little range stout glass, but yeah, it goes well with hazies as well. Yeah, see on the back it's got Range Brewing Stout Season. But yeah, Range are definitely known more for their hazy IPAs. And yeah, they're based up in Brisbane in Queensland, up in the north. Oh, it smells awesome already. So yeah, Disco is just a hazy pale. It's a pale ale, probably at about, I think it'd be like early 5%. And yeah, it's just real punchy with flavour. It's one of the better pale ales out there. That Status Quo, there's a few others. They're probably Australia's best pales. That looks very good. Obviously, the colour's a bit off in the camera, but it's got that smooth and creamy look. It's more of like a yellow than an orange. I would say cloudy in appearance, light carbonation, medium body. Let's go a whiff. And cheers to Angie and Trilby. Good to see us. Yeah, it smells exactly how I expected. Like it's got that sort of like citrus candy sherbet sort of thing. Sweet, bready and biscuity. So yeah, orange is definitely the prominent note. And I would say lemon and lime. It's like grassy as well. You sort of get like a lemongrass sort of floral note. Or should I? Yeah, almost herbal. God, it smells good. Yeah, like that sorbet. Maybe a touch of pineapple. Yeah, anything else is probably a stretch. But yeah, if you like a sort of a sweet, juicy orange beer, it's definitely the one for you. So yeah, 7%. So it's just classed as an IPA, but yeah, they've hopped the shit out of it. So triple dry hop. Anyway, enough sniffing. Cheers and cheers to Disco. Go check out his channel if you haven't already. I can't remember what his channel's actually called now. I'll quickly look it up. I think he's changed the name. It was originally Rasco and Disco beer reviews, so the two of them together. But Disco tends to do more of his own stuff now. Rasco's sort of disappeared. Yeah, so it's now called Just Disco Beer Review. And yeah, he's based in London, in the suburbs, works for a brewery. Good fella. I don't know how many disco beers he's tried now, but I looked up to range of brewed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've brewed 7 different disco beers. So yeah, they've got disco, informal disco, double disco, golden disco, triple disco, creme de la disco, disco till you drop. There's a few others that might be collabs with them, but yeah, coolio. Let's get into this. Yeah, see, on the palate, I'm probably getting. I feel like I'm getting more lime than anything else, which is nice. It gives off that like sort of the lime, slight touch of pineapple, like a mojito sort of vibe. Definitely got that sort of candy sweetness, almost like a almost like a bubble gum sort of character. Get that quite often with range beers. I know back in the day when they used to use Citra, you'd quite often get sort of like sherbet citrus or like candied citrus, and then with the when they'd use mosaic and you get that real big bubblegum blueberry note. That yeah, when they first burst on the scene, they were so good. Cheers, Susie. I haven't missed anyone. I don't think so. So yeah, I've been hanging for a beer for like 2 days. But yeah, I've got a huge stash now in the fridge, but now I got to wait for them to cool down. So yeah, don't be surprised if I do something in about an hour or two's time. I don't have any plans for today, and I now have a stacked fridge. It just sucks so that it wasn't here earlier because, as I said, most of the beer guys will already be in bed by now. I caught up with Miscellaneous earlier. Yeah, while he was drinking beers and Doubtfire was drinking beers and Josh was drinking beers, I was I was having hot coffee and hot cross buns. Trying to see if there's anything else I sort of pick out now that I've had a taste. But yeah, as I said, lemon and lime's probably as prominent, if not more, than orange now. Still getting a little touch of pineapple. Maybe even like a sweet berry note. It's very nice. I know Disco doesn't like grapefruit hop forward beers, so he'd be happy with this one that it's not that pithy grapefruit. Doesn't actually say the hops they use. Cheers, Lady G. Good to see you. Pardon me. So yeah, she's been a pretty quiet week so far, which is good. I just wanted to relax for the first couple of days this week. I'm possibly going to Melbourne tomorrow. We'll see what happens. If I go, I want to get up real early and get down there as early as possible. Um, One of my favourite breweries to get there from where I live. It's a real pain in the ass. So if you do it, you sort of got to really be efficient with your time and leave as early as possible. So yeah, that's possibly on the cards. If not, I'll just chill at home. Um, yeah, because I can't go. I wanted to do it Friday, but Friday's a public holiday, so that shortens the amount of time I have to travel because they only have limited trains on public holidays. Plus, a lot of places aren't open either. And then on the weekend, it's the same. You can't leave to go to Melbourne until like 9 a.m. So by the time you get there, you don't have enough time. It definitely drinks lighter than 7. I mean, I feel like I could slug this all day. So yeah, 2.4 standard drinks in a 500 ml can, 440 can. So it's sort of like a medium sized can as far as Aussie craft goes. Pretty cool can artwork too. I noticed they spelled TIL just with one L. That seems to be a thing though, like you see that quite often. But yeah, I've got a very good mix of mountain culture beers in the fridge. One of them's a hemp IPA. They've like linked up with the cannabis company, so that'll be interesting. Um, yeah, another one's a West Coast. There's like a berry sour. Yeah, I definitely got to get their latest release. They did like an Easter Imperial Stout. I just haven't ordered that one yet. And unfortunately, another thing I have to do is clean out my garage. I've got a heap of most of it's just empty beer boxes, like just cardboard boxes that are empty. And normally it's not an issue. I just leave them, get rid of them when I want. But the fucking real estate lady, she was real thorough, and she's like going through the shed and everything. Oh, you need to get rid of them. They're a fire risk. Ah, fuck up. So yeah, she's coming back and wants to make sure they're all gone. Very intrusive, the real estate. I feel like they're bullying at times. They're meant to just check for damage or stuff, not fucking go through all your property. And she was whinging about walls being slightly dirty. And it's like, well, I'm busy. I'm always busting my ass at work. I come home, I'll cook dinner, I'll walk the dogs, I'll do laundry, I do everything I possibly can. Who cares if the walls are slightly dirty? They'll get cleaned at some stage. All it was like cupboards and doorways just with slight dust on them, and it's like middle of summer and shit. Anyway, enough of the negative vibes. Just annoyed me how she's like, oh, I've got to come back and double check all this stuff. I'm like, can't I just take photos and send them to you? It's the worst thing about renting. You've always got someone just at you all the time for something. So yeah, these guys, unfortunately, they had a brewery, like a bar here in Melbourne. It was in a really good spot, right next to a train station. Just about every second time I'd go to Melbourne, I'd stop in and have their latest beers. But yeah, it just wasn't financially, like, I don't know, what do you call it, viable for them to stay open. They were just struggling a little bit. They just didn't have enough people going there sort of regularly, which is a bit of a shame. I always thought it was doing pretty well. So yeah, they ended up getting rid of it. They've obviously got like numerous bars up where they're from. But yeah, because they're from the other side of the country, it was real handy to be able to try their beers here. But now you sort of got to order them online. I'm not sure whether Beer Man's still live. I was thinking of maybe catching up with him. Could possibly, if I don't end up going to Melbourne tomorrow, I might end up going on his All Spun Out show. More people need to get around Beer Man shows. If you're in America and you can go on his shows every week, do it. Should be no excuses. Only reason I can't go on there is because of the time difference. I'm always at work when he's doing it. So yeah, I feel like as it's warmed, I've started to get a bit of passion fruit. So many beers, especially New Zealand hops, I quite often get a passion fruit note, and it sort of brings a touch of sweetness, but like a tartness as well. I've said numerous times how it reminds me of when I used to live in a place near the coast that I lived there with my mates in my hometown, and there used to be a passion fruit bush like that grew over the fence from one of our neighbours, and you'd be sitting on the back porch and it'd be like dangling right behind you, and all you could smell. It was really strong. What to have for lunch today is the question. I'm going to cook a spaghetti bolognese for dinner, but for lunch, I'm not really sure. Cheers, Gaffer. Good to see you, brother. How's things in SA? Probably better than Victoria. In all honesty, dude, when I think of like packing up and leaving, moving somewhere else, I always think South Australia might be all right. South Australia or Queensland. I just want to go somewhere that's not as expensive and less congested and still be able to do beer stuff and yeah, go to games of footy and whatever else. Cool. Nothing wrong with a bit of ham and mustard. Yeah, Tassie's unreal. I love Tassie. It's somewhere I could live, but I think the fact that I order a lot of beer online and it's one of my passions to be able to do that. If I lived in Tassie, there'd be a lot of breweries that wouldn't send to Tassie. But everything else about Tassie I love. And if you want to go to Melbourne, it's not that far. Like you can get on the boat. Flights are generally fairly cheap as well. Hobart's awesome. Yeah, that's the main thing. It's like where the fuck would you work? I reckon there'd be plenty of hospitality jobs, or not plenty, but yeah. Then like I'm going from an industry where I get paid pretty well to earning fuck all money, so you sort of got to make it worth it. I really want to go to Adelaide for a trip. I just want to go over to Adelaide for sort of 4 or 5 days and like really look around and do as much as I can just to sort of see what I think of the city. So I did the same thing in Brisbane about 2 years ago and really enjoyed it. And I thought I could actually live somewhere like this. I like the cities that still feel like they've got country vibes. Melbourne and Sydney are just fucked. Oh, so you're from Tassie originally. Cool. Yeah, well, out of all the destinations I've travelled in Australia, Hobart's one of my favourites. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it still has all the stuff that I enjoy in bigger cities. Yeah, like the beer and the food scene there was phenomenal. Actually, the best meal I've ever had in my life was in Hobart. I might have already told you, perhaps on other streams, or told someone else, but at is it Salamanca, where the markets are? They've got a few restaurants along that strip there and pubs and stuff. And there's one called, I think it was called Rock Wall or something like that. And I had a blue cheese coffee rubbed steak. And it was the best meal I've ever had. And I've obviously had a lot of shit over the years. But yeah, not only that meal, like we had a 3 course there and everything was just banging. The dessert was like I think the dessert was like a creme brulee, but they incorporated fairy floss onto the creme brulee. That was unreal. I can't remember what the starter was, but yeah, it was that good of a restaurant. I remember raving about it, and then when I come home, the Australian cricket team were there, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's obviously got a good name for itself if the Aussie cricket team's there. It's one of those places like as soon as I go back to Hobart, it'll be one of the first places I go just because it was so good. It's like I'll go there and I'll be like, oh, it's not as good as it used to be. So that beer is gone. So yeah, as expected, very punchy flavour, being triple dry hopped. There was very, very little bitterness. They've obviously chosen exactly when they wanted those hops to go in. Sweetness from the malt was like probably moderate. It had a little touch of sort of dryness on the finish. But yeah, as I said, with the malt, it was like bready and biscuity. Probably even between the two, like white bread. Um, but yeah, citrusy as like orange, lemon, lime. Yeah, like a touch of passion fruit and pineapple. And yeah, like grassy, slightly herbaceous. I would probably say probably go a 4.4 out of 5. I know that I rated the double and the triple discos high, but I think they were just more punchy because yeah, the malt base was pretty big in those, so they were even more punchier than what this was with the malt and the hops. This is sort of a good in between, bit more sessionable. This one, um, yeah, I think the double disco was around 8% or something, and the triple was like 10, maybe higher. But yeah, yeah, I think 4.4 out of 5 is a good score for that. Yeah, I know when I went to Port Arthur, I really enjoyed it. It was eerie as fuck, but yeah, it's actually a very beautiful area. Like when we went up into the captain's quarters and you're standing up on the hill looking out to the coast, it's like, fuck this Port Arthur, like when it's a decent day, it actually looks like you're in tropical Queensland or somewhere. The beaches in Tassie are so underrated, especially on that east coast, like that Wineglass Bay. It's probably like one of the best beaches in the world. But yeah, the like river area in Hobart and that looks really nice. I thought Hobart looked like a very clean city as well. Probably didn't spend as much time in Lonnie as we could have, but when I went there, that was pretty good also. But yeah, I want to do Adelaide and like Port Adelaide and Glenelg and where else? Maybe like down McLaren Vale way. It depends how much time. It'd be awesome to do some of the Barossa, but you'd sort of want a few. You'd want to be over there for at least 4 or 5 days. Oh, that actually sounds really good. Raspberry sausages. Fuck yeah. Mm. It'd be like having toast with raspberry jam and then putting sausages on top. I can see it working though, like the sweetness and the tartness mixed with like the savoury. It'd be pretty nice. You'd have to like raspberry though. But yeah, I might wrap this up. Yeah, possibly see me again soon. Might even do a little hangout. I might even do just a drink along with me sort of thing. I'm not sure yet, but all I know is I'm keen for some beers and I'm waiting on them to chill. So they've only been in the fridge now for about an hour, so they probably need another hour at least. If only I had a fucking esky with ice in it, that would be grand. But anyway, thanks for chiming in, peeps. And yeah, shout out to Disco again. Hopefully, we get him a disco beer at some stage. We've got a few to choose. I think we just need to get him just the standard disco, the core range one. At least that's sort of the OG and the readily available one. But yeah, I've given this a 4.4 out of 5. And yeah, Range Brewing, if you can get any of their beers, give them a go. Very good brewery, one of our top in Australia. And as I said, yeah, based up in Brisbane. Yeah. Yeah, if I get over there, I'll have to shout out a few people I know in South Australia just to get some recommendations. But yeah, I've been looking at it for a while. I like with Adelaide how everything's pretty close. So if you got accommodation in the city, it's not that hard to get to places. Yeah, sounds good, dude. Cheers, peeps, and yeah, you'll probably see me back again soon. Laters.